As females, our mood, our energy levels, our motivation, our appetite can be hugely affected by our menstrual cycle. So that means our diet and exercise can naturally be affected too. Being mindful and being educated on how our performance levels can really differ throughout the month can be a really beneficial thing to track. Hi, I'm Kelly. I'm a nutrition coach and master personal trainer. My focus with my clients is really to help them to feel the very best they can on a day-to-day basis. So I like to look at my ladies' whole well-being, not just focusing on diet and exercise. So this is looking at sleep patterns, stress management, work-life balance, really looking at every aspect of their life to help them to get the best results possible. I hope you enjoyed today's video and find it beneficial. If you do, please do subscribe to my YouTube channel and please do share with anyone you feel may benefit. Thanks very much. Lots of love. So I'm going to begin by discussing the two phases of the menstrual cycle. We have the follicular phase and the luteal phase. The follicular phase, which is such a mouthful, is the first 2 weeks of your cycle, and the luteal phase is week 3 and 4. Now that's when we're kind of discussing the typical 28-day cycle. I know for a lot of ladies, including myself, our cycles are all over the place. My cycle is typically all over the place due to my endometriosis, but those still are the two phases. So week 1 of our follicular phase, so this is when we will have our bleed, this is when we'll have our period. I get asked a lot if it's okay to train during that week, especially get the question from a lot of my ladies who have endometriosis or PCOS or other conditions that can make your period a lot more painful and uncomfortable. You know, I get asked, is it okay, is it safe to train during this week? It's really hard to give a definite answer until, you know, I've discussed with the individual how they feel. You really got to, just really focus on how you feel during that week, and if you feel like you want to train, you feel like your body wants to train as well. But personally speaking, during that week when I have my bleed, the last thing I feel like doing is anything that's too high impact or too high intensity. I know that if I jump about too much or go running, it really feels almost like the bottom part of my stomach is just tearing. So obviously that's not the most comfortable thing. So I tend to stick to more lower intensity exercise. Just dial my training in a little bit that week. Although I have always found personally that exercising, especially weight training, has always helped me during my period to lift my mood, to ease the pain and to ease cramping. Again, that's just personally for me. My body responds really well to weight training. So during that week, listen to your body and perhaps maybe just dial your training in a little bit. So if you are wondering kind of what time of the month it would be best to kind of hit those training goals, hit those personal bests, or really just smash your training, then this could be during week 2 of your follicular phase. This is when we generally have the most energy, the most strength, because this is coming up to when we ovulate. So normally ovulation kind of happens around day 14 of your cycle, and this is when we do have the most power and most strength, and also when we are our most fertile, and as females we'll be feeling the most fruity as well. So this time of the month will be our most powerful time of the month. So what's the deal for week 3 and 4 of our cycle, our luteal phase? I'm going to focus on week 4 because that's when the most changes happen, probably when we feel the most different. So if you do suffer from PMS, this week leading up to our period will probably be the time when you're perhaps feeling the most touchy, a little bit moody, irritable. Perhaps the people around you can vouch for that more. And also we can be a little bit more clumsy, have that brain fog during that week as well. So it's probably not the best week to start any kind of new form of exercise, or if you are training in a gym, to maybe step away from the free weight section a little bit, which requires us to be a lot more coordinated, and step towards the machine-based work, which doesn't require our bodies to move as much and for us to rely on our coordination and stability as much. Also during that week, and I definitely get this, we tend to feel a lot more hungry. Our appetite is on the increase. I know during that week for my period, I can literally just eat and not feel like I've eaten a thing. I just feel hungry the whole time. So it's not a great week to probably be on a massive calorie deficit, because we will tend to struggle more during that week. One thing I would really advise you to do, if you haven't done so already, is to download an app to track your cycle. And there's some really great apps out there where you can track, obviously, when you're having your bleeds, when you're having any discharge or anything like that, and also to track your symptoms, how you're feeling, and really create a pattern for yourself. I've done this religiously now for a good few years, and I've found it so beneficial to have an understanding of my own body. And you know, when you get those weeks where you haven't got the energy, or you're struggling with your training, or you can't stop eating, or you're irritable, or have that brain fog, just to have it all noted down and to know how your body reacts during each month can be so empowering, and like I've said, really just beneficial for our own well-being. So a few little takeaways from today. So initially, if you haven't downloaded an app and aren't tracking your cycle, then get downloading, start tracking your cycle, your mental and physical symptoms. Just doing this alone can really be so beneficial for our well-being, and just to have that understanding of how our body works, and to also know that those times in the month where we are really struggling and are clumsy and have that brain fog, to know that we're not going mental, and it's not us, I promise, it's just our cycle. And to embrace it, to embrace the times of the month when we feel great and we can smash through things and really achieve, but also to know the times of the month when we are struggling, that it's okay. So get doing that. And also, you know, we are very different from men. Men generally can crack on through the month and have a level with their, you know, food and their exercise. We are different, and that's fine. Embrace it. And also to know that we are individuals. So even if you are kind of twinning with your cycle with perhaps, you know, a sister, best friend, your mum, I found that when I've been around one female for any length of time, that our cycles can start to sync. Even if that has happened, you can still feel really different throughout the month and have different symptoms. So that's okay, that's all very normal. But I always do say that if you feel like you're struggling too much or aren't happy with what's happening with your cycle, to always visit your GP, talk to them about it, and really, you know, have your mind put at ease. It's so important for us to be open about periods and to talk about them. It's the most natural thing in the world. Without them, we wouldn't be able to procreate. So that's why I probably talk about them so much, just because I want that awareness out there, and I want women to be, and men to be able to talk about it as openly and as normally as anything else in the world. So I hope you've been able to pull something useful from this video that will benefit you, and please do take care of yourselves. Thank you for watching. Lots of love.